and believe the power of the warrior will always prevail.
One man had a vision that would change our world.
Welcome to WrestleMania!
A world where legends are born. Now, you can live those moments. Slam a giant. Climb the ladder. Go one-on-one with the Great One. Retire a legend. Steal the show. Dethrone an icon. And keep the dead man's streak alive. Create a once-in-a-lifetime moment. 30 years of WrestleMania. One epic game. Become immortal.
Hello everyone and welcome to, this is CKTV, it is YouTube, and it's the greatest source of broadcasting you can have known to man, and it is YouTube. Everybody has the ability to put themselves out there on this phenomenon of a resource, YouTube is, of course. Well, I'm going to go now and talk about WWE 2K14, and you might see what I have going on here. I've got a bit of saying we're talking about wrestling, of course. I've decided to go with a hat here. It's kind of not a hat, but a headband, Ricky Steamboat style headband, and we've got the Bret Hart glasses going here. We've got a wee moustache kind of thing, resembles Hulk Hogan or somebody, but not really. But it is computer graphics, but it's nice that we can do that, isn't it? But I'm not actually wearing anything, but let's just say we are. Let's just say I am. Coming up on the show, we've got a lot to talk about. Just the other day, Saturday, the day before SummerSlam, well actually 2 days before SummerSlam, it was the in LA, live from LA. We had the gameplay stream, the first gameplay stream of WWE 2K14 was revealed, and it looks good. Not very different from 13, but a few wee tweaks here and there as well. Of course, the roster's totally changed up. As we know, it was Attitude Era last year, all the big names from that era. Now we're looking at more of a mixed roster, because we did hear the announcement of the years of WrestleMania mode, which is going to be massive. And that is, we heard that will cover over 45 of the greatest WrestleMania matches, and we only heard 3 of them leading up to the weekend, and they were WrestleMania 3, Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. They were announced for the game, massive. WrestleMania 18, the Rock versus Hulk Hogan, Hollywood Hulk Hogan. The Hollywood Hogan version and the Rock Retro Rock were both announced on the reveal. As you will see in a wee while, we're going to go to the reveal. And the WrestleMania 28 and 29 matches, of course, The Rock versus John Cena, also in 2K14. So when you look at that, them 3 are just only 3 of the over 45, probably 48 or 49 matches from the 30 years of WrestleMania. It's shaping up to be an amazing roster. We're going to play you through the roster in a wee while now, in the next few minutes. But and then we're going to talk about my favourite part of it, which is the legends. And I was really hoping for a golden era feel to this game, but it looks like we're concentrating on all the eras, but at the same time we're going to see a big chunk of the roster. I would say by the end of the DLC announcements, we're going to have 25 to 30 golden era legends, and then you can have the cause as well, so that really builds up a massive golden era roster for anybody that wants to have that. That's massive. And we heard as well on the past announcements that it would be all 30 arenas are going to be default arenas in the game. All 30 WrestleMania arenas from the past are going to be default in WWE 2K14, and that means we will probably still have, it's not been officially announced, but we will probably still have the great roster, or the CAA, which of course is Create an Arena mode. We'll probably still have that in the game, but in addition to that, we're going to have the original 30 WrestleMania arenas. Isn't that something? Well, now I'm going to bring you over. We're going to go back to LA, back on Saturday evening to be precise. It was the big roster reveal, and here is a rundown of the card of the over 45. No, sorry, a rundown of the card of well over 45 to 50 wrestlers on this card. Legends, semi-legends, or maybe from 10 years ago, and modern that were in the last few WrestleManias are all in the mode. So this was the announcement of half of the full roster. It wasn't the full roster. It's about half of the full roster I heard, and it's all the people that's involved in the story mode. Supposedly, I think there's more to be announced, but they said at this time it was all the people involved in the 30 years of WrestleMania mode. Let's have a look at the rundown. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Rock! He's almost as good on the microphone as I am. Without a doubt, the all-time greatest entertainer. The Ultimate Warrior! And you pre-order this game, you get your Warrior as a downloadable player. Don't forget that, pre-order. The Retro Big Show! He looks even bigger in retro. Oh my God! Nice haircut. CM Punk! The best versus the beast. You can play it right there. Sergeant Slaughter! The Sarge leading chin first, as usual. Representing the USA. Hall of Famer. The Rated R Superstar Edge! One of the stars of the TV show Haven on Sci-Fi. Edge all over this game. Big Daddy Cool Diesel. He names himself after a fossil fuel. The Undertaker. Nobody on earth has ever been better at WrestleMania than The Undertaker. King Kong Bundy. I think this guy was calling himself a king even before I was. King Kong Bundy in the house. The Beast, Brock Lesnar. The man who wants to destroy CM Punk tomorrow, right here at SummerSlam. Retro Chris Jericho. His shirt doesn't even match his pants. What? Andre the Giant. Possibly the greatest WWE superstar of all time. Oh, okay, sorry. Alberto Del Rio. But you already knew his name. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Dresses better than you, Damien. No, he doesn't. Where's your crown? Retro John Cena. Oh, yeah. The chain gang's back. Doctor of Thugonomics. The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. That's Mr. WrestleMania to you. Exactly. The show stealer does it again. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I thought that was Daniel's son from Karate Kid. Retro Triple H. I like how they superimpose my body with Triple H's head. It's a hell of a deal. Oh my God.
Big John Studd.
Big John Studd. Damien, I wish you were here right now to face you. That would be great. We were trained by the same guy, by the way. Yeah, very good.
Retro Ric Flair.
This is disgusting. Look at that robe. Look at his robe compared to mine. He looks like a Christmas tree with all those ornaments on it.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The Bionic Redneck. Mr. Podcast. The Texas Rattlesnake.
Oh, yeah.
Hulk Hogan.
What about it, Boo this man. Boo this man. Damien, what is wrong with you? You're telling people to boo Hulk Hogan? There's the WrestleMania.
Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
But it's the Hollywood version, brother. The dark beard, bro.
I hate Hollywood.
Retro and Hollywood. Retro Kane.
Now there's some hellfire and brimstone for you, let me tell
That
you.
was the old big red monster we knew and loved.
Absolutely. Well, you love him, but
Randy Orton.
The Viper will strike.
vintage, someone said.
The Retro Undertaker.
Look at the purple gloves, the purple hue. And again, the arena will be just like it was when you saw him the first time.
Retro Shawn Michaels.
That's the edgy, attitudinal.
The original
Twice for
showstopper.
being in the game twice.
The bad guy, Razor Ramon.
It's great to see the bad guy making a big comeback here in this game and in life.
The Big Show.
He had a haircut. New hairstyle. Him and Pink go to the same barber.
Triple H.
He got a haircut. I think you could use a haircut. Right down here.
Silence!
Right in the face. Uh-oh.
Retro Brock Lesnar.
That's the biggest golden gopher of them all. Bad apple.
JBL.
I love the towel.
I love the towel, too.
Well, we love towels.
Bret Hitman Hart.
Bret the Hitman Hart, one of my most memorable rivalries with that guy right there.
Yes, there is. Yes, there was.
Whoa.
Chris Jericho.
I wonder what the light bill on that jacket is.
I think it runs on gas.
The Rock Retro.
Again, almost as good on the microphone as I am. Oh, my. Oh, yeah.
Mick Foley.
This is Foley's baby boy Mick.
The Miz.
The Miz. Greatest episode of Miz TV a couple weeks ago I've ever seen.
Batista.
I'm coming up. I should be coming up soon. Get ready.
Yokozuna.
Arguably the most agile super heavyweight of all time and former WWE champion.
John Cena.
The question is, can John Cena retain his title tomorrow at SummerSlam?
The Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, yeah.
I actually broadcast WrestleMania 9 with Savage and Heenan.
The Nature Boy Ric
The
Flair.
man looks like a peacock. Don't cheer him. Don't woo. Please, don't condone this kind of behavior.
Goldberg.
And finally,
Wasn't that something? Wasn't that amazing? Seeing all them names, all the big names from over the years, and that were in the main events of each WrestleMania, brought to life in this game. Unbelievable. And when you think about it, Hulk Hogan is back in a WWE game. He was in Legends of WrestleMania 2009. He was in All Stars in 2011, but he has never been in the actual WWE main simulation series for years. I'm talking back in 2006, 2007. So they are going to be, he is going to be a big key factor in this with the modern technology and the modern graphics. going to be great to play as the Hulkster in this game. Also announced, Andre the Giant, as you've seen there. These are the legends. This is the 16 golden era to new generation legends. But these are the legends that would take you from between 85 and 95. Here they are. Big John Studd. I thought that was a good addition to the game. He hasn't been in the game since Legends of WrestleMania, and he's never been in a WWE game apart from that. King Kong Bundy, a former partner of Studd's from the 80s when Bobby Heenan managed them. Bundy, a massive addition, quite literally, to the roster. Also, Hulk Hogan is in it, of course, as we said. The Macho Man Randy Savage, former Hulk Hogan's former Mega Powers teammate, in there. Of course, Savage was in WWE 12, and he was in All Stars, and now he's back in with his WrestleMania 3 attire. Of course, they will pair him and Steamboat up, no doubt. The Dragon, another addition to the game. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Andre the Giant's in there, unbelievable. The Ultimate Warrior, of course, the pre-order incentive is in there in his WrestleMania 6 attire. I was hoping they would change that up and give him another one. But don't forget, there's 3 and 4 versions of some of these wrestlers in this game, so you never know. We could have an alternate Savage or an alternate Warrior. We'll see what happens. Could be DLC, because we have heard that 2K Sports is well known for doing a lot of DLC for these games. Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, is going to be in the game in his WrestleMania 8 attire and in his WrestleMania 24 attire, but we're concentrating on the legends in this video, so it's WrestleMania 8. Ric Flair is brilliant because that's when he met Savage, and I'm sure they'll put in a Savage attire for that as well, hopefully. Next, Sergeant Slaughter in his WrestleMania 7 attire against Hulk Hogan. And Slaughter, I'm sure, will have another one as well for his USA loving days, because that was, of course, when he was the Iraqi turncoat in '91 when he fought the Hulkster. Also in the game, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase from WrestleMania 4, his character from WrestleMania 4. Of course, he was fighting Macho Man in the final of the WrestleMania 4 tournament for the World Championship. Then in the Trump Plaza in WrestleMania 4 in New Jersey. So the DiBiase will be a big addition to the game. I wonder, will it still be announced that there will be managers here, because so much potential for managers in this roster so far anyway. Bruno Sammartino, it hasn't been officially announced as part of the roster, but he has said in interviews that he is in WWE 2K14, and he is also, he's made a lot, when we was doing the interviews around the time he was inducted into the Hall of Fame, he did say that he was going into the roster for 2K14, so you never know what could happen with Bruno Sammartino. Also, Razor Ramon, of course, the new generation addition to the game, and Ramon, of course, he is a great addition because he was the bad guy. He wasn't in a wrestling game, in a wrestling game made by WWE since WrestleMania back in 1995. So that's unbelievable. So I'm sure that Razor Ramon will be a great addition to this game, and maybe they'll do a Scott Hall and Kevin Nash DLC, who knows. But Diesel is also on the roster, of course, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, and also HBK Shawn Michaels from his WrestleMania 11, with his WrestleMania 11 attire, the same version of Shawn Michaels that was in Legends of WrestleMania a few years ago. And also Bret the Hitman Hart's in the game. He was a shoe-in anyway, but I'm sure he will be a great addition to the game. Of course, he'll probably be in the WrestleMania mode against Yokozuna at WrestleMania 9 and 10, but wouldn't it be great if he was against the person that they have left out? And it's all over Twitter. This guy is tweeting about them leaving him out, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Also, The Undertaker in his old school attire, the original Undertaker attire. This is going to be unbelievable. And Also in the game, Yokozuna. Isn't that a massive, literally a massive announcement that Yokozuna, for the first time since Legends of WrestleMania, and he's never been in another modern game since way back, he is in the game. So a lot of big men in this particular game. Very hard to make for the game makers, but now since 2K came on board, that is possible. So that's big. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to become of the possibility of 8-man tags and stuff like that, and these different things, because 2K have a lot more money to pump into these things, a lot more things happening with 2K Sports at the helm. So another big announcement in that roster that everyone was shocked with was Goldberg. Goldberg's going to be in the game. He's not that old school, but he is in the game, and you'll be able to recreate that match from WrestleMania 20 when he fought Brock Lesnar. A few rumors. There has been rumors coming in that there's been 3 big rumors, actually 4 big rumors, but 3 old school rumors have been flooding the internet. The first one, of course, with Bruno Sammartino. We've talked about that one. The others being, one in particular isn't an old school one, isn't one I'm talking about, but this one is pretty massive because he's a TNA wrestler at the moment. He's recently been done on drink driving charges, and he's a self-professed alcoholic and stuff, and he's been going to rehab, but he's also an Olympic gold medalist from years ago, and he's also one of the greatest wrestlers that ever lived. And I'm talking about Kurt Angle. So he is rumored to be in WWE 2K14 as well, but because of the policies WWE has, he mightn't be allowed into the game. That is still being negotiated, I'm sure. Roddy Piper and the LOD are the two. The big announcement, the big rumor is LOD at the moment. They're talking about LOD maybe being in the game, but not being announced yet. Another big rumor is Roddy Piper, the Hot Rod, was left out of the game. He's been tweeting about it. He has been retweeting other people's tweets. He's been totally, really annoyed at the whole situation. And he's trying to say that they haven't even approached him about being in it. Piper was in the first ever WrestleMania main event. He was in so many WrestleMania moments. He's had so many moments. And he's been in a couple of great WrestleMania matches, including that WrestleMania 8 match with Bret the Hitman Hart. Now that is one that has to be in the mode. If it's not, it's a bit controversial that it's not. So I'm sure Roddy Piper is holding back, and they're going to announce him into the game, I'm sure, within the next few weeks. Either as an in-game, either on the roster already when you open the game, or he could be DLC. That's what we're thinking. But isn't it an amazing roster? If Piper's added to the game, LOD, Bruno, that brings it up to 19 old school stars. And then when you think about the possibilities, these are the missing legends that I think need to be put in there. I think some of these need to be in it, but the rest of them, the other few that I name, might be in or out. Who knows with that one. But here is some of the legends that I think deserve to be in the game, but aren't. I've named 19 or 20 there that are definitely there's a brilliant chance of them being in, but now I'm going to name about 7 or 8 that I think need to be in. As far as if it's a WrestleMania, the history of WrestleMania type of game, they need to be in. Here they are. Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect, if he was in the game, he has to be in the game. Kurt Hennig, of course, died back in 2003. He was he's the father of current wrestling star Curtis Axel, who used to be known as Michael McGillicuddy. Before that, he was known as his real name, Joe Hennig. He's the son of Kurt Hennig, who was Mr. Perfect, and he, I think, deserves to be in the game. His family has a lot of links and ties with WWE, so I don't see why they wouldn't have him in the game. He's probably going to be DLC, or else on the disc. So, Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, my first pick to be in the game. Roddy Piper's my other pick, my second pick. Roddy Piper has to be in there, either on the game or DLC. It has to happen. My third one now, Jake the Snake Roberts, isn't announced yet. I'm sure he will be announced because his best buddy, or one of his buddies now, Scott Hall, of course Razor Ramon in the game, is announced. So maybe Jake the Snake Roberts is going to be DLC or announced soon. That match he had with DiBiase would definitely be a big addition to the game from WrestleMania 6. He had great matches with the Honky Tonk Man, who is also one of the people I think they should have announced. He had a great match with the Honky Tonk Man, WrestleMania 3. He had a great match with Rick Rude, WrestleMania 4, who's another one I'm going to announce. He had a great match with Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 5. He had a great one with DiBiase, WrestleMania 6. Martel, WrestleMania 7. Undertaker, WrestleMania 8. That match with The Undertaker, unbelievable. And he had a 6-man tag at WrestleMania 12. But up until WrestleMania 8, he was one of the mainstays at a WrestleMania, Jake Roberts. And to not have Jake the Snake Roberts in this game would be a travesty, especially the way he's turned his life around and stuff, and really is. He's talking about coming back to the Royal Rumble, as I made a past video about. Unbelievable. If they leave Jake Roberts out of it, I think it's terrible, but he could be a DLC, and I think they need to make him one of them. My fourth pick for the roster now is Ravishing Rick Rude. I think Rick Rude deserves to be in there. He's had some classic matches with Roberts, WrestleMania 4. He's had a great match with the Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 5. He fought Snuka in a lesser match at WrestleMania 6. So he has to be considered for DLC spot or on the disc as well. Ravishing Rick Rude. He was in Legends of WrestleMania, of course. Hasn't really made any other appearances. I think SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. But wouldn't it be good to have him on this roster? Big Boss Man, another one who has been in recent games. He was in the Attitude Era one last year. He was in, a few years ago, he was in the Legends of WrestleMania roster and the All-Stars roster. So I don't see why the Boss Man, who's another deceased wrestler, as is Rude, by the way. Most of these guys, it's unbelievable how many of them's dead. But anyway, the Boss Man is expected to be in there on DLC, but who knows what'll happen there. I hope he's in. And as far as his matches at WrestleMania goes, he hasn't been in a while lot of great ones. He teamed up with Akeem and the Twin Towers back in WrestleMania 5 against the Rockers. WrestleMania 6, he was against Akeem when they broke up. We had a match at WrestleMania 6. At WrestleMania 7, he went up against Mr. Perfect in that famous match, that Intercontinental title match, which that got into the Relive matches at Legends of WrestleMania in the game. So I don't see why that wouldn't be a match on this if they both make the roster. So the Boss Man deserves to be in there. The British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, I think he deserves to be in there, either on his own or with the Dynamite Kid, who will never be in there. He's in bad terms with WWE and McMahon, so I can't see him being in there. But the Bulldog, who's dead, and his family have good relations with WWE, so I don't see why he couldn't be in, but who knows, I don't know. The Bulldog should be in there, because he's been in a lot of games lately, including last year's one, the Attitude Era one, under his developed persona. Then we can go into Dusty Rhodes, to a lesser extent deserves to be in this game. He's working for WWE. He was very popular when he had the whole polka dot thing going on, and he was one of the main men, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. He was in Legends of WrestleMania. He was in All Stars. He's been a legend in a couple of different games. I don't see why they wouldn't throw him in there, especially when 2K's at the helm now. We've got a bit of money about them. Why wouldn't they spend it and get all the big names in, you know? The Honky Tonk Man is another person who usually makes these games. He's one of the mainstays as well, and getting into these games. I don't see why the Honky Tonk Man couldn't be in there. Superfly Jimmy Snuka, to a lesser extent. He hasn't been in as many games, but his last one being All Stars, he was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. Before that, he was in Legends of WrestleMania. Before that, he was in SmackDown vs. Raw 2008. Before that, so I don't see why Snuka would be overlooked. And then there's a few people you could throw in to bring up the tag team status of the game. You have Demolition, who were in WWE 12. You have Marty Jannetty, who could be taken in and give Michaels an alternate attire and make them the Rockers. You could bring in the Anvil and have Bret Hart with an alternate attire and make them the Hart Foundation. You know, there's so many there that you could throw in as extras to make more tag teams in the game. But the top 4 or 5 there would be Perfect, Piper, Jake the Snake, the Honky Tonk Man, Jimmy Snuka, and the Boss Man. I think would be the top 6 of them. I'd definitely like to see a good few extra named as part of the roster, but I've been on the Legends Wrestling forum talking about this to the other big old school fans, and it's great to get on there because there's so many like-minded people. You know, that it really is a great place to hang out on the internet and talk about what we want we want from these games, because these games are what makes you happy, and these games are essentially the things that keep you going in day to day and make things good. So I think when you play one of these games, like WWE 13 last year, totally was outside the box thinking for them to develop that game, because that was a one roster from one era, and they pretty much covered everyone. They maybe left out a handful of people, but you could easily create them in the call mode. And I am saying that, and I do know that in that game I can play the old school stuff with the calls and the created arenas, but it's not the same. If you've got the licensed characters in the game, you have all their characteristics, you have all their it's like reality coming to life. But the Attitude Era game was like reality coming to life. You don't get that to that extent when it's the cause in the arenas. It all looks very good, looks very real, but it's not to the same extent as like in 13 they were able to mix story modes and really develop the characters in the game, and it was good when they're licensed in the game. So yeah, it's definitely a great possibility, this game. And we haven't heard much about Universe Mode yet. We haven't heard much about if there's any more modes. There could be, when 2K's at the helm, there could definitely be a few more modes. It's just this 30 years of WrestleMania mode that is really looking cool. Triple H was talking about it in the big press conference. He was talking all about this 30 years of WrestleMania mode, and he was saying about it being the biggest thing, the biggest game in the history of professional wrestling. And he said they wanted to go all out with it and include as many legends as possible, include as many people. He was saying that it was just, this is what he said. He still watches these guys, reruns of these people, as a lot of us old school fans do. But even Triple H, as a big name today and a big name from the last 15 years, he says that he still looks back at these people and is in awe of that era. And wouldn't it be great if they did bring it up to 25 or 30 of them legends in this particular game? But right now I'm going to sound out from talking about WWE 2K14, and I'm going to leave it at that for now. Gamescom is coming up this week. I think it's in Switzerland or Germany or somewhere. I think it's in Germany, actually. There has been an announcement today on the internet that Antonio Cesaro, who's the big Swiss star in the WWE, has announced that he will be making a major special announcement at Gamescom later in the week. It's between the 21st and 25th of August, just in a few days' time, Gamescom, and that is where there'll be more footage released of WWE 2K14, and there will be more big announcements. Maybe some of these legends will be announced, maybe some of the lesser legends, in my opinion, from the Ruthless Aggression era or the Attitude era. when you think about it, the Attitude Era really is. There's no reason to revisit that now, because they've done a full game dedicated to that there in the last release. Why go back to that? Because why can't we just have it more about the eras that weren't covered? Like, even the Ruthless Aggression era there was one of the big eras. That was between 2002 and 2006, and that era was pretty good as well. So, well, I don't think it was very recent. I wouldn't think of it as a big, looking back fondly, the kind of era you would look back so quick on and say, oh, that was brilliant. But it's I think the Legends era, the golden era, the 80s, 85, circa 1993, around that, them 8 years really captured the crowd. It was a really colourful era and really cool, and I think if we have that in the game, or if we have a lot of the characters from that in the game, 25 to 30 of them characters, it would be excellent. But let's just leave it at that for now, folks. I'll be back very, very soon. I'll probably do a weekly thing now leading up to the game. I know that's probably thinking I'm a bit mad, but I don't care. I'm happy and proud to be mad when it comes to wrestling. You know, they call WrestleMania, I'm sure, because only maniacs like it. I'm sure that's the reason. But so that's what it's all about. I'm going to be also, very, very shortly, I'm going to be uploading a special history of SummerSlam to my YouTube channel, and that's going to be pretty cool, because I'm going to be getting footage of old SummerSlams, and I'm going to be talking about each bit of footage and talking about the history of it in my next video that I make. I think I'm going to make that video tonight later on, but right now I'm going to sound out with the WWE 2K14 preview show. I'm going to be back next week someday. I'm going to make one of these videos, and we're going to talk about some of the new news, and let's hope I'm going to be telling you about some of these names getting into the fold for WWE 2K14. I just want to say as well, very, very happy Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man Randy Savage, Andre the Giant, and the Ultimate Warrior, for the first time ever, are in a WWE simulation game together. It's the first time they've ever been in a WWE simulation game at the same time, and that is massive. So, as far as they go, the first 16 have been officially announced. First 16 Golden Era stars for WWE 2K14. Now, it'll be interesting to see how many it goes up to as far as the Golden Era is concerned. But there's been 3 more rumoured. Piper and LOD have been rumoured to be in there, so that could make it to 19. But let's hope it keeps rising. For now, see you all later. See you next week when I do another one. I'm probably talking about them big announcements at Gamescom. Keep tuning in to In the Show and Live, by the way. I'll be posting links to that and stuff on the CKTV YouTube channel. Keep tuning in to CKTV. Like, subscribe, do what you do, folks. And Yoster over. And out.